Is Jacksonville Jaguars edge rusher Trayvon Walker the ideal trade target for Philadelphia Eagles general manager Howie Roseman this offseason? That's the question making waves among Eagles fans and NFL analysts alike after reports surfaced that the Jaguars might be open to trading the former #1 overall pick from the 2022 NFL Draft. And when you think about Howie Roseman's philosophy when building a roster, this move makes a lot of sense. Roseman has always prioritized winning in the trenches, focusing on dominant play on both the offensive and defensive lines. And now, with key departures on the defensive front, the Eagles could be in the market for another top-tier edge rusher. The Eagles lost pass rusher Josh Sweat and defensive lineman Milton Williams in free agency, with both players securing lucrative contracts elsewhere. Sweat landed with the Arizona Cardinals, while Williams found a new home with the New England Patriots. These departures left Philadelphia searching for reinforcements, and names like Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, and even Micah Parsons have been tossed around as potential trade targets. But now, Walker has emerged as a more realistic and possibly more affordable option. Unlike those other players, Walker is still on his rookie contract, making him financially manageable in the short term. He's also significantly younger than Garrett Hendrickson or Parsons, which means he has more room for growth. While he may not yet be on their level in terms of overall production, his trajectory suggests that he's still developing into the kind of player who could become a dominant force in the NFL. And let's not forget one of the biggest reasons this trade makes sense, Howie Roseman's well-documented obsession with Georgia Bulldogs players. The Eagles have developed a reputation for stacking their roster with former Georgia stars, and Walker would fit right into that blueprint. He would join a defensive unit that already features Georgia products like Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and Nakobe Dean. Even cornerback Kaylee Ringo and safety Louis Cine, who was picked up late last season, are part of this growing Philadelphia-Georgia connection. If the Eagles make a move for Walker, they would essentially be reuniting one of the most dominant college defenses in recent history under the guidance of new defensive coordinator Vic Fangio. Walker's first season in Jacksonville didn't immediately validate the Jaguars' decision to take him first overall. Many analysts at the time argued that Aiden Hutchinson would have been the better pick, and his rookie season in Detroit supported that claim. But that doesn't mean Walker was a bad choice. He was simply raw coming out of Georgia, playing on a defense so loaded with NFL talent that he never had the opportunity to showcase his full potential. His rookie year stats weren't eye-popping. 3.5 sacks, 10 quarterback hits, and 5 tackles for loss. But as he gained more experience, his production steadily increased. In his second season, he recorded 10 sacks, 19 quarterback hits, and 10 tackles for loss. And then in 2023, he took another step forward, notching a career-high 10.5 sacks, 15 quarterback hits, and 13 tackles for loss. That kind of year-over-year improvement suggests that he's just beginning to tap into his full capabilities. And under the right coaching staff, his development could accelerate even further. That's where Vic Fangio comes in. Fangio has long been regarded as one of the best defensive minds in football, and his arrival in Philadelphia should bring a fresh approach to the Eagles' defensive scheme. Walker's versatility makes him an ideal player for Fangio's system. He can rush from a stand-up position, put his hand in the dirt, set the edge against the run, and even drop back into coverage when necessary. That kind of flexibility is something Howie Roseman values tremendously. The Eagles have consistently targeted athletic, explosive defensive players in the draft, and Walker fits that mold perfectly. At the 2022 NFL Combine, he posted a relative athletic score as of 9.99 out of 10. He ran a ridiculous 4.51 second 40-yard dash at 272 pounds, registered a 35.5-inch vertical jump, and recorded a broad jump of over 10 feet. That level of athleticism is rare even among elite defensive linemen, which is why he skyrocketed up draft boards back in 2022. From a financial standpoint, acquiring Walker would make sense for Philadelphia. In 2025, his cap hit would be just under $12 million with a base salary of around $1.1 million. That's an extremely reasonable number for a player of his caliber. And with the Eagles holding the ability to exercise his fifth-year option, he would remain under team control for at least the next 2 seasons before needing a new contract. Of course, the trade price is a major factor in whether this deal actually happens, but considering Jacksonville's current situation, the cost might not be as high as some expect. The Jaguars have already invested heavily in their defensive front, and if they're willing to part with Walker, it likely means they're looking to reallocate resources to other areas of the roster. A realistic trade package for Walker could involve the Eagles sending the 32nd overall pick in this year's draft, along with a second-round pick in either 2025 or 2026. That's a price Philadelphia could be willing to pay, especially when considering the alternative, selecting an unproven rookie at pick 32 who may or may not develop into a player of Walker's caliber. In contrast, Walker is a known commodity with proven production at the NFL level and room to improve. For the Eagles, this move would not just be about filling a positional need. It would be about adding a young, ascending player who fits perfectly into their defensive scheme and locker room culture. And with Howie Roseman's aggressive approach to team building, this is exactly the type of move that could be on the table. Would Walker immediately make the Eagles' defense one of the best in the league? Maybe not. But his addition would undoubtedly make them deeper, more athletic, or more dynamic up front. And in today's NFL, where elite pass rushers are at a premium, securing a player like Walker before he fully reaches his prime could be a brilliant long-term investment. So the question now is, should the Eagles pull the trigger, given his age, talent, and potential trading for Trayvon? Walker might just be one of the smartest moves Howie Roseman could make this offseason. If the Eagles were to make a move for Trayvon, Walker, it wouldn't just be about adding another edge rusher to the rotation. It would be about securing a long-term piece for the defense, someone who can grow alongside an already impressive group of young players. At just 24 years old, Walker is still in the early stages of his development, yet he has already put together back-to-back double-digit sack seasons. That kind of growth is exactly what Howie Roseman looks for when evaluating trade targets, especially considering the Eagles' recent focus on getting younger and more athletic across their defensive front. One of the most compelling arguments for acquiring Walker is his versatility. He is not a one-dimensional pass rusher who only thrives in specific situations. Instead, he is a player who can impact the game in multiple ways. He can set the edge. Against the run, he can drop back in coverage when necessary, and he can generate consistent pressure on opposing quarterbacks. His ability to be effective from different alignments gives defensive coordinator Vic Fangio a unique weapon to utilize in his scheme. Fangio's defenses have always relied on smart, athletic, and versatile players who can execute multiple responsibilities at a high level. Walker fits that mold perfectly. When looking at his production over the past 2 seasons, it's clear that Walker is trending in the right direction. His jump from 3.5 sacks as a rookie to 10 sacks in his second year showed that he was beginning to figure things out at the NFL level. Then in year 3, he took another step forward, registering a career-high 10.5 sacks along with increased quarterback pressures and tackles for loss. That steady progression suggests that he has not yet reached his ceiling, which is an exciting prospect for any team looking to add an impact defender. Walker's improvement isn't just seen in the raw numbers, it's also reflected in advanced analytics. His Pro Football Focus PFF grades tell the story of a player who is steadily refining his game. In 2023, he posted an overall PFF grade of 68.2, which was a significant leap from his 2022 grade of 53.9. His pass rush grade improved to 65.1, while his run defense grade jumped to 69.2, an increase of nearly 20 points from the previous season. Those numbers suggest that he is becoming a more complete player rather than just a situational pass rusher. Another factor to consider is the number of snaps Walker played last season. He was on the field for 505 pass rushing snaps, the second most among all edge defenders in the league. That level of durability and endurance is rare, and it indicates that he can handle a heavy workload without seeing a drop-off in production. The Eagles love to rotate their defensive linemen to keep them fresh, so adding Walker to a rotation that already features Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, and Hassan Reddick, if he remains on the team, would give Philadelphia one of the deepest and most talented defensive fronts in the NFL. From a contractual standpoint, trading for Walker makes a lot of sense. His cap hit for 2025 is projected to be just under $12 million, which is a bargain compared to some of the other elite edge rushers in the league. The Eagles would also have the ability to exercise his fifth-year option, keeping him under team control for at least 2 more seasons. This would give them flexibility in negotiating a long-term extension while maintaining cap space to address other areas of need. One of the biggest concerns surrounding Walker coming out of college was whether his elite athletic traits would translate to consistent production at the professional level. Early on, there were questions about whether Jacksonville made the right decision in selecting him over Aiden Hutchinson. But over the last 2 seasons, Walker has answered many of those doubts by showing steady improvement. He may not be at Hutchinson's level yet, but he is closing the gap, and his potential remains sky high. If the Eagles were to pull the trigger on a trade, the biggest question would be, what would they have to give up? Given the Jaguars' reported willingness to move Walker, it's unlikely that he would command an exorbitant price. A reasonable trade package could involve Philadelphia sending the 32nd overall pick in this year's draft, along with a second-round pick in 2025 or 2026. When you compare that cost to the potential reward, it starts to look like a smart investment. There is also the question of fit. Walker played in a 34 system in Jacksonville, which required him to drop into coverage at times. In Philadelphia, under Fangio's scheme, he would likely have more opportunities to rush the passer consistently. That could lead to an increase in his sack production and overall impact. The Eagles have had success developing edge rushers, and with the talent around him, Walker could take another big leap forward in his development. Philadelphia's front office has never been shy about making bold moves to improve the roster. Howie Roseman has built a reputation as one of the most aggressive general managers in the league, constantly looking for ways to add talent and maintain long-term success. This potential trade aligns with his philosophy of acquiring young, ascending players who fit within the team's financial structure. One of the underrated aspects of this deal would be the chemistry Walker would bring to the locker room. He already has established relationships with several key players on the Eagles' defense, having played alongside them at Georgia. That kind of familiarity can be invaluable, especially when integrating a new player into a system. The bond between Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and Nolan Smith is well documented, and adding Walker to that group would only strengthen the defensive unit as a whole. Another reason this trade makes sense is the Eagles' need for long-term stability at the edge rusher position. Hassan Reddick's future with the team is uncertain, and even if he stays for another season, he will eventually need to be replaced. Josh Sweat's departure has already created a void, and while Nolan Smith has shown promise, he is still developing. Walker would give the Eagles a proven young player who can contribute immediately while also growing into a bigger role over time. The financial aspect is also worth considering. The edge rusher market has exploded in recent years, with players like Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, and TJ Watt securing massive contracts. If the Eagles were to sign a veteran pass rusher in free agency, they would likely have to pay a premium. Trading for Walker gives them a cost-effective alternative, allowing them to allocate resources to other areas of need while still improving their defense. If the Eagles want to remain competitive in the NFC, they need to continue prioritizing the trenches. The teams that consistently contend for championships are the ones that dominate at the line of scrimmage. Adding a player like Walker would reinforce that philosophy and give Philadelphia one of the most formidable defensive fronts in the league. So should the Eagles make this move? Based on Walker's age, talent, and potential, the answer seems to be a resounding yes. He is the kind of player who can help Philadelphia win now while also serving as a cornerstone for the future. If Howie Roseman is serious about keeping the Eagles among the league's elite, trading for Trayvon Walker could be the next big step in that process. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. As the whispers grow louder in the NFL world, rumors of Lamar Jackson possibly joining the Philadelphia Eagles have electrified fans and analysts alike. In a video that's taken social media by Storm, Jackson is seen walking through the Eagles' locker room, sparking speculation about what this monumental move could mean for the future of the team. With Jackson's elite dual threat capability, his arrival in Philadelphia would create an immediate powerhouse in the NFC ready to challenge any team standing in their way. Could this be the beginning of a new era for the Eagles? Lamar Jackson, one of the most dynamic quarterbacks the NFL has ever seen, has continually broken records and defied expectations. From leading the Ravens to the playoffs in his rookie season to becoming the youngest quarterback to start a postseason game, his journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. Jackson's unique skill set, combining an arm that can rival the best in the league and legs that make him nearly impossible to catch, has earned him MVP honors not once but twice. His ability to turn a game around with a single play is unmatched, and his potential in Philadelphia could create an offensive juggernaut. The Eagles have always had a strong offensive lineup, but adding a player of Jackson's caliber could elevate them to another level. With the weapons already in place like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, Jackson would have an explosive receiving core at his disposal. His presence would also make life easier for the Eagles running back committee, as defenses would have to account for both his arm and legs, opening up more opportunities for everyone. The prospect of Jackson orchestrating such an offense is enough to make any football fan salivate. But what would a potential trade or signing look like? Jackson's contract situation with the Baltimore Ravens has been a hot topic for months. After leading his team to the AFC's top seed in 2023 and another MVP award, it's clear that Jackson is worth every penny. But with contract disputes lingering in Baltimore, the Eagles could seize the moment and swoop in for the quarterback. That could be the final piece they need to secure another Super Bowl win. With Jalen Hurts' impressive play, it would require careful maneuvering, but the Eagles' front office has shown before that they are willing to make bold moves. Lamar Jackson's qualities as a quarterback are unparalleled. His ability to extend plays with his legs is a game changer, often turning what seems like a sack into a big gain. His vision on the field, combined with his speed, allows him to avoid pressure and make throws on the run that most quarterbacks can only dream of. Jackson's versatility as both a passer and a runner forces defenses to adjust in ways they haven't had to with any other quarterback. And that dynamic adds a whole new dimension to the Eagles' offensive strategy. Nick Sirianni, the Eagles' head coach, has always valued a balanced high-energy offense that can exploit any defense's weaknesses. His decision to target Lamar Jackson as the potential answer for his quarterback position speaks volumes about Jackson's ability to elevate a team. Sirianni has proven he knows how to get the best out of his players, and Jackson, with his unique skill set, fits perfectly into Sirianni's vision for the Eagles. The potential for a Jackson-led offense under Sirianni's guidance could be the ultimate weapon in the NFC. Jackson's leadership also cannot be overlooked. Known for his competitive nature and relentless drive to improve, he has earned the respect of teammates and opponents alike. His calm demeanor in high-pressure situations, combined with his ability to rally his team, would bring a sense of poise to the Eagles' locker room. Jackson is the kind of player who thrives when the stakes are highest, and his past performances in clutch moments speak to his ability to step up when it matters most, making him a perfect fit for the Eagles' championship aspirations. Finally, Jackson's presence in Philadelphia could redefine the Eagles' offense, especially in a division as competitive as the NFC East. His mobility and arm strength would allow him to run a high-paced, unpredictable offense that would keep defensive coordinators up at night. With weapons like Brown and Smith in place, Jackson would have the tools to quickly build a lethal connection with his receivers. His arrival could make the Eagles the team to beat in the NFC, as he adds the kind of game-changing talent that every championship contender covets. As the NFL offseason heats up, the anticipation surrounding Lamar Jackson's future continues to grow. A potential move to the Philadelphia Eagles could shift the balance of power in the NFC, bringing the team back into the championship conversation in a way that only Jackson's presence could. Whether the deal happens or not, the mere thought of what could be has already sent waves through the NFL, leaving fans and analysts alike eagerly awaiting what the future holds for one of the most electrifying quarterbacks in football history. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.